Hello everybody, this is Jason from C2Axis.com. I just wanted to go over some of the tips and tricks that I've used over the years when it comes to document type setup for ProLaw. So I really like to think about four things to use as tools for document type setup: description, rule set, event class, and area of law. You can get to the document setup from tools setup, document types off of the dashboard, and then basically all four of these options are under either the description at the top under the document type or under the options tab. So first, under the description, it's okay to have dupes. Sometimes I'll even create a mapping between a single name and multiple event classes. So emails might go to a folder or event class called from client, and then another email might go to from insurer, and then another one might be closing settlement docs, or however you wanted to create your folders. But basically, you would create multiple document types and then create a mapping for each event class. Now, you don't have to. You could just create event classes and save it once as an email and then change the folder under the event class after you've created the document type, but I just find that that's a little clunky and then it doesn't always make sense to attorneys. And so what I like to do is just create the multiple document types, even though it's the same name, different folders, and that way when they look at the list of document types that are available in a matter, they're going to see 1, 2, 3, 4 emails, but then it's going to have a different event class or folder to choose from. And I just find that's a little bit quicker and easier for attorneys to understand. Secondly, we can create rule sets that are basically just naming. We could just create one. If you wanted to create one for your entire firm, you could do that. Maybe you create two. You just have, firm A and firm B, or firm 1 or firm 2. But what I usually typically will do, will create a rule set that maps to any area of law, especially if it has custom tabs. Because I find that if I'm creating custom tabs and doing a lot of really in-depth area of law work, that's a great opportunity to create a document type list that's only available for that area of law. For regulatory, for example, I've seen this happen in lots of different instances where we create a regulatory area of law and then we'll create custom tabs for it. And so then it just kind of makes sense for it to have its own grouping of document types to choose from under the event class. And of course, it's not under events, but it's not only the document types, but it's also the folder structure or event classes. So really, this is the piece that allows you to create an area of law specific mapping by usually managing partners. So if you have a managing partner or you have multiple ones and they all like to do things their own way, rule set is a great way to create a carve out inside of area law. Now, we don't want to do this by attorney because that's crazy. But what we do want to do is, just create some high level organization, because otherwise, if everything's global and you have no rule set, when you go into a matter, you're going to see a list of document types that should never be used with that area of law. We don't want to use regulatory form document types inside of a class action or a collective action. And we don't want employment-specific document types showing up in litigation. It just doesn't make sense. And so by assigning rule set, we can group like document types together. I like to do it by area of law, but feel free to do it whichever way makes sense to you. Sometimes it doesn't make sense to split things. If you created a commercial litigation and then a real estate litigation, and then 6 months later you look and the document types are the same, do away with the rule set. Just have one for generic litigation. If you are also transitioning admin files or personnel files off of a shared into a ProLaw matter, I love that idea, but sometimes it's nice to have an administrative rule set so we can create all kinds of document types that are available for us or for our firm administrators that aren't needed in the litigation side at all. This is a great way to do that. Lastly, another great trick for a rule set is to create a discontinued rule set. And in this discontinued rule set, you never add it to a matter, but you can move document types to it that you want to retire, to archive, so on and so forth. You can't just delete a document type after it's been used. And if it's been used enough times, it's probably too big a pain to change all of those document types. So I just moved the document type into the discontinued rule set. No issues. One last thing though, if you are creating rule sets, you have to add the rule set to the matter in order for those document types to be available. It just has to be done once when we first open the file, but that's one thing that has to happen if you are going to use rule sets. Next, event classes. I mentioned it a few times. Event classes are your folder structure. And this is also the way that you can control the way that documents are saved in every single like matter in ProLaw. This is where the efficiency comes from. Document types are helpful. Event classes are what it's all about. And event classes just basically, whenever you go into a matter and you're using document types like you're supposed to, let's say we in litigation, we have pleadings, and then pleadings is mapped to drafted motions. So every time you go pleadings, it's going to be in the drafted motions. So that way, when a managing partner needs to go in and find that pleading that you're working on, they can go right to drafted motions, and it's there every single time. They don't have to search, they don't have to hunt, they don't have to email, they don't have to call. Best thing ever. If you enforce the document type setup, if you enforce the document types being used, you will get a consistency of files. So when files are reassigned, if you have an attorney leave and another one comes in, it's going to be consistent for all of the other matters. You don't have everybody doing their own thing. And it really helps a lot when it comes to efficiency for a law firm. Next thing is you can actually add areas of law restrictions into the document type or the rule sets themselves. And so if you create an area of law FCC regulator, or regulatory, and then that FC regulatory area of law is going to have specific document types that are only going to be needed in that area of law, you can actually go in, click the add button under options under that document type, and add the area of law restriction, and then it will not be available in any other matter, even if it has the rule set assigned, if the areas of law don't match. It's a good way to just kind of clean up your system a little bit. I do have one more slide here that's the exact same information, except it's just in a different way. So basically, on the left-hand side, the global defaults, these are the defaults that I would create, not assign them to any rule set. It's just a document type that is available in every single matter. Drag and drop, emails, maybe conflict check, maybe check request, maybe if you have some type of expense report that you always want to be available. Those are examples of global defaults. And then add with those global defaults any area of law specific rule set and document types you need. So you're always going to have the global, but then if you have an employment matter, then you add that employment rule set, and then you'll get charge documents and new hire employee documents and charge answer as the document types that are available because you've added that rule set. Or let's say it's a regulatory matter and you need complaint from regulator and regulator responses to document types. You can do that. And here's the real genius of this, is that then when you have multiple managing partners that all want it done their way, you can do that. You do it by area of law, and you have to be a little bit careful because we don't want to go crazy with it. But you know, this is a great example. If you have regulatory employment litigation, you have 3 or 4 areas of law internal to your firm. Each has their own managing partner. Each likes to do things their own way that makes sense to them, that they've been doing it 10, 15, 20 years. Create their file structures for them using rule sets. It's a great way to do it. I find it to be intuitive. It helps learning. It's all good. If you need some help, reach out. I'd be happy to talk to you about it. We can discuss it. We can discuss your firm. Shoot me an email, give me a call. Be happy to help. Good luck. Thanks.